Hello, hello, and welcome today to Mind Soulful Monday. Today we are talking about the power of quiet. The power of quiet, but basically why quiet scares the SH, I know, you know what, T out of us, right? What is it about being quiet and being still that really, really scares us? And that stops us from really doing this really powerful practice. So hello, hello, you're in the right place if you want to learn more about quiet, having a personal practice, meditating, and mind soulfulness. You're in the right place. Hello, my name is Brooke-Sidney. I am the owner of a company called Brooke-Sidney.com, and I'm your mind soulful mentor. I'm your self-love advocate, and I'm your inner voice and story coach. So basically what I do is I help you love the life that you are living right now, right? Love the life you're presently living. And today what I'm talking about the power of quiet and why quiet scares the crap out of us, right? Why it scares the crap out of us. But I wanted to tell you like a little story. So we all know that we move at a really neck-breaking speed. Most of us are living lives where we're going like super, super fast. Like we're just going and going and going and going and going, and we're busy and busy and busy. Like our lives seem to get busier. They never seem to slow down. But most of us really actually don't really stop to think about it. We just try to figure out ways really to do more. And many of us, even myself included, when we have more free time, we often put more stuff in it. So that ends up actually just compounding the problem. We just keep doing more and more, and whenever we have free time, we fill it with things. And so we're in this pattern of constantly being busy. The other compounding pattern that we have is a lot of us are constantly listening to something. For many people, that's television. I'm not a huge television watcher. I have a couple of shows, but I'm not a huge television watcher. I do, however, listen to podcasts and kind of like personal development things. But what most of us do is, whether we live alone or not, there's something filling the background. There's noise, there's stories, there's information that's coming at us all the time. And again, that's not like a space for us really to allow our minds to slow down or our minds to be quiet, because whether or not we realize it, we're always filling our space, be it our body space and the things that we listen to, our head space, or even just literally our life space, by continually filling it with things and places to do, and new projects, new places, new appointments. I realized this really deeply kind of through my yoga practice, to be honest. One of the things that I realized is that a lot of people, myself included, love to do yoga for so many reasons. Like, it is amazing for your body. It is like a sanctuary, meaning you can go and do yoga and you kind of feel like you're getting part of yourself back. I feel like it's a return to home in that sense. You can use that time to listen to yourself. You can use that time to talk to God, whatever works for you. But this is really interesting. Most of people think about yoga, they think about hatha, which is primarily what I teach. It is your traditional yoga. We're doing sun salutations, we're doing flow, we're doing all of those things. People really enjoy it because we're moving our body and it's helping to distract us from our minds. A lot of people actually use yoga to in a sense, connect with our bodies, but sometimes to check out from the greater world, but we're still using our body and the motions, right, and the movements as a distraction. So one of the things that has personally happened even for me is I've started doing a restorative practice. I've started doing more yin, where you hold poses for longer periods of time, and you cannot escape yourself. You cannot escape yourself in these postures and in that practice because you slow down. Your body is not moving. You're not flowing through sun salutations. You're not doing downward facing dog, right? Or if you are, you're holding that position for 5 minutes or for 10 minutes, especially if you're doing like yin. And I literally have had students come up to me when I have varied my class. I've had days where I've had headaches. And so even for my yoga class, that's a traditional yoga for beginners, you know, sun salutations, we're moving and shaking, we're getting sweaty. I have done a restorative practice where we're using all of our bolsters and supports and sitting in poses for a very long time. And it's mostly relaxing, right? I have found, like other students who've come up to me afterwards and said, you know, Brooke-Sidney, this was my hardest yoga practice ever. Now, mind you, they were able to essentially sit supported in these poses, right? So you're not like overly extending yourself. You really shouldn't be in pain. You're not even sweating. But what was so hard about these particular poses or this particular practice is that you had to be quiet. You had to get comfortable with whatever is bubbling up. You had to stay in this position or stay in this posture for a period of time, which allowed you the inability to escape whatever is coming up for you, be it whatever you're feeling in the moment or whatever you are thinking in the moment. You're unable to escape it because you are essentially locked into this posture for 5 or 10 minutes, and you would rotate through these postures where you are essentially supported, right? So everything that is going on in your life, in your mind, in your heart, in your soul is able to bubble to the surface. And guess what? Most of us, myself included, are uncomfortable with that. I am growing in becoming comfortable with that space. I love it. I'm loving it now because it gets me right into that zone. It gets me right into connecting with whatever's going on in my life. It's been able to bring me a greater level of clarity. And this is not just a push for restorative yoga or yin yoga. It's not even about that. I would just like us, especially those of us that are awakening, those of us that are interested in going deeper into, mindfulness and mindfulness, those of us that want to connect further with spirit, those of us that want to love our lives as we're presently living and love ourselves. That requires silence. It requires us to move past any fears that we have around getting silent. It requires us to be okay with being uncomfortable in this weird space of hearing everything and feeling everything. And I know I've talked in the past, of course, around surrendering and releasing and being in the moment. But one of the first steps is getting quiet. One of the first steps is allowing whatever is scaring you to actually let it scare you and allow it to come up. And I just wanted to talk about this today because I realized that myself, along with other teachers, we talk so much about the power of quiet, and I'm going to be talking about that in future chats. But I wanted to address right off the bat how quiet is actually scary and why it scares the crap out of most of us. Because when we allow ourselves to get quiet, a lot of the things that we've been avoiding hearing or feeling, truth be told, they come up, and that can be scary. But it's also the very first step for us moving through it, processing it, releasing, surrendering, learning what we need to learn, and elevating and moving beyond it and loving and accepting all of it, right? So it's a journey, but I have to be honest and say, and even essentially provide the warning that the quiet power, right, that is here to shift us and shake us, right, is scary. It's scary in the beginning. It's scary to be quiet. It's scary to have those thoughts come up that you may not want to deal with. It's so much easier to turn on the radio, play on Facebook, be on our social media, turn on the television, do something to numb out and to distract ourselves. And we think that we're being quiet, we think that we have sat down, but in essence, all we've done is distract ourselves. And so I'm encouraging you today to find moments that are quiet and be okay with it being uncomfortable. Be okay with it being a little scary. And we're going to continue to work through this. If you're interested in working on all of these things right now, being quiet, mindfulness, connecting with you, greater self-love, you need to join my Mind Soulful membership circle. It's amazing. Women in there are having breakthroughs. They're finding greater self-love. They're understanding how when life happens to them, how they can not be reactive but proactive, how they can make better decisions, how they can be in love with themselves and their lives right now, not tomorrow, right now. So I'm really, really encouraging you to, join my Mind Soulful membership circle. And if you're interested in one-on-one work, definitely direct message me so that I can see if you and I are a fit and what your goals are to work with you. So that's it. Today I just wanted to jump on and really talk about what about the quiet scares the crap out of us. But as we move forward, we know that quiet and the power of quiet is so essential to the place within ourselves that we're able to fully love ourselves and the life that we're living. And that is what we're going for. That's the goal. That's the vision. That is our truth. So thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure that you tag another friend, another woman friend in the comments. Share this out. I'd love to hear what you think about it. I'd love to hear what about the quiet scares you. Until next time.